Alright, so how does the worst sales speaker become the best in just a day? So in this video I'm going to reveal what I did, how you can do it too, and why you don't need any more sales training. In fact, any more sales training could make things worse. So you're the worst sales speaker we've ever had, is what I was told. Now a couple of weeks previously, a buddy of mine had called me up and said, would you come and do some sales pitches for me? So he basically was going to put people in the room, I'd stand up, deliver a presentation, hopefully we'd sell his 3-day seminar. That was the goal, that was the idea. So he sends a presentation across. I spent a couple of days, I think it was about 3 days in total, looking at it, working with it, playing with it in my head, and said, right, I'm ready to go. So a few days after that, I kind of rocked up at his offices where they had a room which they use for these things, and he put roughly about 20 people in the room. It was about 10 o'clock in the morning, 20 people in the room. I did the first presentation I'd ever done for him, and I made a sale. So it seemed like a good start. Okay, we're onto something here. That evening though, in the evening one, there was maybe 70 people in the room. I delivered the presentation, I got 0 sales. None, nada, a big fat donut. That wasn't great. Now of course, he hadn't asked me to come and do this because he was willing to train me. This wasn't a training ground because of course the company couldn't afford to keep spending money on advertising, putting people in the room if someone like me wasn't going to actually convert them into customers. That's a recipe for bankruptcy. My friend had hired me because he believed I was a good speaker. I believed I was a good speaker. But of course, being a good speaker and being a good sales speaker, two completely different things, two completely different skill sets. But with hindsight, my complacency, bordering on arrogance, was really what had got in the way of me seeing that. So the MD of the company called me the next morning, and that's when he delivered that infamous line, "You are literally the worst sales speaker we've ever had." Now my first instinct was to say, beep you, but that was the arrogance talking. So thankfully my brain flipped from defensive to solution mode faster than my mouth could mess things up. Instead I asked him, I said, look, I've got an idea. Who's your best sales speaker? And could I spend a day with him? Like, could I sit and watch a couple of his presentations? Could I talk to him for like 5, 10, 15 minutes? Then, if you're willing, just give me one more chance. And if I don't nail it, then of course just drop me. I think he was stunned because he said, you'd do that? I was absolutely will, because I absolutely know I can do this well. I just need to see somebody doing it well to understand what I'm missing. You know, I said, look, I'll record it, I'll study it, I'll make changes to my presentation, I'll make changes to the way I deliver it, whatever it takes, you know, and if I still can't nail it, then obviously I'm just deluding myself, so you might as well just drop me. There was this long pause at the end of the line, like as his brain was obviously processing all of this, and then he finally just said, okay, let's do it. Now, there's a reason my buddy thought I was a good speaker. He'd attended, like way back in the day, I used to teach something called neuro-linguistic programming. And so he'd been on my NLP, for short, practitioner program. And obviously, so he'd see me speak, he'd see me teach, he knew what my energy was like, he knew what kind of speaker I was. At the core of NLP is a methodology called modeling. So modeling NLP is really all about breaking down somebody's success into key pieces so you can replicate what they're doing, get similar results to what they're getting. You know, think of it like stealing somebody's recipe for the perfect dish. You know, like if you wanted to make the world's best chocolate cake, it's like go find the world's best chef who makes the world's best chocolate cake, put them in the kitchen and watch them. Study them, make notes, talk to them, get inside their head, pull out their whole recipe. That's what modeling is. So that's exactly what I did. You know, I put my ego to one side, I rocked up on the day that the top speaker was going to be speaking, I sat at the back of the room and I watched him. I made pages of notes. I mean, I literally studied everything. You know, like how he delivered the presentation, how he used his stage, where he stood on stage when he delivered certain key points, what sort of gestures he used with his hands, what sort of expressions he put on his face, when he used certain things, certain language patterns that he used. I was listening for those as well. And then when he'd finished, I got a chance to talk to them and I spoke to him and kind of dug into kind of his belief, like why he does it the way he does it. What drives that is someone's beliefs. So he had certain beliefs about presenting, he had certain beliefs around selling and how he connected the two. And I really wanted to know that. I wanted to dive into that because if I can adopt the same beliefs, then I can put into place the same actions because I'll be thinking similarly to how he's thinking and I can just kind of wrap my personality around it and deliver it and hopefully get similar results. So I took everything that I got from that day, what I learned from this guy, and I compared it to what I'd been doing, and I could see massive differences, massive holes where I'd missed things completely, or where I'd put things in which were completely unnecessary, or not even just unnecessary, they made things worse in terms of actually getting people to make a decision to actually buy the seminar. So then what happened? Well, in my next presentation, there was roughly 30 people in the room, and I made 7 sales. As you can imagine, that was a game changer for my confidence. And from that point on, I started experimenting, playing with different things to see if I could improve it and make it better and better. And that's exactly what I did. And over a period of the next few months, I became their highest converting sales speaker. Now, if you're wondering what was the big belief that I took away that made a difference, it was simply this: that I wasn't there to sell. I was there to help. But of course, in the space of a 90-minute presentation, there's only so much I can help you with. So if you really want to transform and make a difference in your life, then you've got to continue this journey with me, which means you've of course got to make a commitment and make a decision to buy the seminar and continue the journey. That made a massive difference, and that's how I've approached sales ever since. Next thing, you want to start using this same idea to transform another area of your life, then I suggest you watch this next video where I transform my fitness so that I could successfully take and grade for my 4th dan in karate at the grand age of 58. Go check that out now.